Hello there, I'm Will Zagzebski, and I'll be your host for this episode of History in the Making, where we dive into the journey of Jackie Robinson. When you're in history class, you all have probably heard of names like Martin Luther King Jr., George Washington, Albert Einstein, and many more, and that's for good reasons. These people are all major parts of history who are all known for specific things that made them who we all know them as. Einstein, for example, is one of, if not the smartest man of all time. Washington, obviously, is the first ever president of the United States, and Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the most influential leaders of the American Civil Rights Movement. When in history class, you learn all about these famous figures, but some of you may not know of the famous Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson is a name that is known not just in the world of sports, but across the whole world. Born on January 31st, 1919, Jackie grew up during a time when racial segregation was deeply entrenched in the society in America. And today I will be telling you of his journey to becoming one of the most courageous and dedicated people in all of history. Robinson started his career in the Negro Leagues, but according to LOC.gov, in 1945, the Jim Crow policies of baseball changed forever when Branch Rickey and Jackie Robinson of the Negro League's Kansas City Monarchs agreed to a contract that would bring Robinson into the major leagues in 1947. This changed history forever, not just in the sports world, but the whole world changed this day. Jackie Robinson had just broken the color barrier, which finally allowed for people of all races to play together in the MLB. Finally, Jackie signed a contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers and made his debut in 1947. It wasn't easy for Jackie. He had to face endless amounts of racism, segregation, and discrimination. He faced racial slurs, threats, and even physical violence from opposing players, fans, coaches, and even his own team. Jackie was able to keep his composure and ended up having quite the rookie year as he won the award Rookie of the Year, which is handed to the best rookie in the league for that particular season. It's safe to say that Jackie successfully challenged the stereotypes and was able to show that African Americans could do just as good as anyone else in professional sports. According to nmaahc.si.edu, when Robinson played, thousands of African Americans came to the stadium to support him and see him play. Many African Americans thought that Robinson's success proved that if given a fair chance, African Americans would be productive, responsible, and exhibit a strong work ethic. Robinson was seen as a one-man civil rights movement. Robinson made not just African Americans, but all people facing forms of discrimination feel that they belong and that if they want to be something, they can achieve it. And that's how all of you should be in life. Before I move on to my final points, I'd like to bring up our fake sponsor, Gruber Law Offices. If you are ever injured in a car accident and you need help and insurance, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. The main and final points I wanted to talk about today were for those of you who aren't baseball fans and love history. Jackie Robinson wasn't just a baseball player. He was actually a big part in the civil rights movement. We hear from the people at JackieRobinsonMuseum.org that Jackie Robinson was often a featured speaker at civil rights rallies, and he was always encouraging people in his community to become active in politics and business. Another piece of information even I just found out about comes from pmc.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov, and they tell us that Martin Luther King Jr. visited Don Newcomb, a Negro leaguer who joined Jackie Robinson and Roy Campanella on the Brooklyn Dodgers. King told Jackie Robinson, quote unquote, "I just want you to know, and I want the others to know, that without what you did on that baseball field, I would never have succeeded." If Martin Luther King Jr. is saying this to Jackie, you know Jackie Robinson must be pretty influential. Another famous figure in the civil rights movement was Rosa Parks. Parks is talked about all the time in history class for her bravery to not move to the back of the bus when being told by some white people. What people may not know, according to Stanford.edu, is that in July 1944, Robinson was court-martialed for resisting a demand to move to the back of an army bus. I feel that this is not talked about enough just because Jackie was a baseball player. The people back over at LOC.gov also let us know that before baseball, Robinson showed an early interest in civil rights in the Army. He was drafted in 1942 and served on bases in Kansas and Texas. Also, Robinson served in the U.S. Army during World War II and was honorably discharged in 1944. Robinson was very involved in politics, the military, and his community, while also being a part of baseball history. The history of Jackie doesn't seem to be talked about enough because he wasn't just a baseball player. He was more than that. He was a hero. Wrapping up this episode, for those of you who don't know Jackie, I have a few questions. Why don't you think Jackie Robinson is talked about in history class? Is it because he was a baseball player and not like a president or another famous figure? And do you think he should be talked more about? Because the influence he had on the world was insane. He led civil rights movements. He faced many forms of racism. He had to fight to be able to do what he loved, a lot like people that you learn about in history class. And yeah, it just seems like he should be recognized more for what he did, because when you think about it, like Martin Luther King said, if he hadn't done what he did, we don't know if Martin Luther King would have done what he ended up doing. It's safe to say Jackie wasn't just a normal baseball player. He was a hero. And that's how I'd like to wrap up this episode of History in the Making. I'm Will Zagzebski. Thank you.